I mean, I have that conversation every day. I had someone, so I have like a copywriting Discord, like a community. And I get this maybe once, twice a week, which is like, how can I learn copy faster?
Right.
There's some variation of this.
Something I learned in one of my jujitsu instructors when I was early into it, this is 20 years ago. You had a million, jujitsu very technical. There's 1,000 techniques, moves. And I would keep asking him, he's a very high level guy, Marcus, what about this? Whatever, like very common. Finally got tired. He goes, Mark, there are 1,000 questions you just said. There's only one answer, training. And as soon as he said, I was like kind of humiliated a little bit. Like it was obviously so true. And we're very close. But it just, I could see that. I felt bad for him because I realized I've been pestering him for a year and a half with these questions. And he was, of course, 100% right. You have to they call it flow. You have to get to a place where you can be in the flow. And that requires being the present, and it requires doing it, not just planning or learning about it.
It's such like what you're saying is the trouble with that advice is it's so obvious.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. You want to write a whole book on it, but it's like actually my book's only one sentence.
Right.
And I had that conversation. I mean, I have that conversation every day. I had someone, so I have like a copywriting Discord, like a community. And I get this maybe once, twice a week, which is like, how can I learn copy faster?
Right.
There's some variation of this. So someone hit me up and said, I'm trying to get a job. Like, how can I practice or how can I get skilled enough to do this or learn faster or blah, 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 blah. Always some variant of like learning the skill, mastering the skill. And the bothersome thing is if they're in my community, they've already heard me say it 1,000 times. And I stole this from Joe Schrieffer when I was at Agora Financial, which was read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, and come up with an idea a day. That's the training. So when you said the training, like I don't know if the camera caught me. I was like, oh my God, that's what I say every day. Like I had a dude who's in my highest tier sort of like private circle hit me up and asked that question. And I was like, how could you ask me that? Like, I call it do the least is my principle, my philosophy on that, because you're doing the most when I give you advice. And the follow-up question is, yeah, but besides that, yeah, but what else? Like, stop right there. You've already complicated what is the practice. Just do the practice. Right. You're not doing it. You're in your head trying to imagine like all these. Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Well, mentoring is a whole thing in and of itself. Somebody asked me a question about that. One of my former proteges. It's a very interesting, difficult challenge. You ask sometimes they say, why did I spend so much time mentoring people? I don't know exactly, but it has to be a pleasure in and of itself. You have to be happy to it's like giving anything. You have to be happy with the giving of the gift. If you're looking for anything in return, it's not a good way to approach it. I don't know why I'm going off on that direction.
Well, I can meet you there. Is like I remember Joe asked me this when I first started the YouTube channel, was 2018 or 19, and I was just basically just talking copy, and he asked me just like, why are you doing this? And I think the way he asked me was a pragmatic question. Right. Like, are you building a list? Or you got an offer? What are you doing? Right. He said, why are you doing this? And I said, I don't know. I just like to. And I remember whatever I said was like, I just want to. It stopped the question cold. It stopped the whole conversation. I feel like he was going to give me some sort of advice on how to build the list or make an offer. And I just said, I just like it. Yeah. And he was like, huh. And then we switched subjects. And I just remember that moment in time. I was like, what was he going to ask? Why would he ask me? What was he going to say or do? And I was just like, I like sharing and I like teaching it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that he decided to change the topic, or we agreed to change the topic because you were already on your path. And he knew that instinctively, at least, that your success would depend on the tenacity of staying on your path. And he probably, knowing you, he probably just said, all right. Well. I mean, that's what I would say. If anybody said just one, I wouldn't pursue it anymore, because that's all you want. And you certainly don't want to say, somebody, wow, you got a lot of balls because you're really dumb. There's a couple of times I felt that way about people I worked with. I've told the story before. I'll make it very quick and vague. But I think maybe one of the 5 most successful copywriters in our world I was mentoring for years, and I just got to the point when I was thinking, just let him know. He's not going to make it, He doesn't. And then, like, one of my other proteges invited them to come and work with him, and like a year later, he was like superstar. So I guess that one of the things that tells you is that, and this is true of athletes, right? You get a coach, and at some point in time, as you're moving up, going towards the Olympics, you got to get another coach. But I think what we're kind of talking about is that if you just make a decision that you're going to do it because you're going to enjoy the process, then you already got your reward. And if you can get financial success out of it or other things, that will be great, and they'll come with you.